Hello everyone, my name is Edward Crooks. I am a past student of Calabar, a physician, and a Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Examiner. I am here today not to criticize the school I love, but to give us all an honest, structured look at where Calabar stands right now, and more importantly, what we as old boys, parents, and stakeholders can do together to secure its future. I ask that you keep an open mind as we go through this briefing. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room. Many of us have heard the whispers and sometimes the very loud conversation about whether Calabar has fallen. My position is this: the narrative is far too simple. What I see is not a school in decline, but a great institution facing a confluence of pressures that any serious organization would struggle with. I have broken it down into three areas we will explore together: academic pressures, administrative friction, and the enduring prestige that gives me confidence in Calabar's future. Let me be direct here. The academic concerns are real, and I will not minimize them. When I look at the data on the CSEC and the CAPE performance, particularly in mathematics and English, I see patterns that demand our attention and our action. The retention policy debate is particularly important to me. I understand the administration's intent to uphold standards, but I believe we have to ask ourselves, are we giving every boy the support he needs before we make that decision? That is the question parents are asking, and frankly, it is the right question. On the right, you can see the breadth of stakeholder concern. This is not just one group talking, it is all of us. Governance and discipline have been at the center of much of the public conversation about Calabar this past year. I want to acknowledge the historic significance of Principal Wilson's appointment, the first female principal in Calabar's history. Change of this nature always brings adjustment, and it is my view that we as old boys have a responsibility to support that transition constructively, not to resist it. On the discipline front, I understand the intent behind maintaining standards. I genuinely do. But when incidents at the school gate are making national headlines and drawing the Ministry of Education into our affairs, we have to ask whether our approach is serving the school's reputation or harming it. We can maintain standards and do so with care and discretion. Now, let me take a moment to celebrate what we should all be proud of, because Calabar's story is not one of failure. On the track, we remain unmatched. The level of athletic talent this school continues to produce, the championships, the national pride, that is a living testament to what Calabar can do when it puts all its full resources and culture behind something. And here's what I want us to understand: the same institutional energy, the same culture of excellence can and must be applied to the classroom. The track shows us what is possible. Our job is to replicate it academically. I want to make sure we take a moment to recognize the progress that is already happening because it is real. The Math Culture program is exactly the kind of alumni led initiative I am proud of. It goes beyond writing a check and actually engages students in reshaping how they think about mathematics. The synthetic track is a world-class facility that speaks of what Calabar Old Boy Association can accomplish when it organizes around a goal. And our global network of old boys in Jamaica, Canada, and the United States is one of the greatest untapped assets. What I want to do today is to show us how to channel all of that momentum more deliberately and more strategically. This is where I want to shift our focus from diagnosis to prescription. Everything I have shared up to this point has been about understanding the problem clearly. Now I want to talk about solutions. I have structured this plan around four strategic pillars that I believe that COBA is uniquely positioned to lead. None of this requires us to wait for government intervention or external validation. We have the talent, the resources, and the relationships in this room and across our global network to make this happen. The next two slides walk through each pillar in detail. Pillars 1 and 2 are about getting our house in order and then investing in our boys' academic futures. On the leadership side, I am recommending that we formalize a joint steering committee, a body that brings COBA, the school board, the PTA, and the school leadership around the same table with shared accountability. Right now, these groups sometimes work at cross purposes. That has to change. We also need a rigorous needs assessment before we spend another dollar so that every intervention is targeted and evidence based. On the academic side, I want us to think ambitiously. Our old boys include doctors, lawyers, engineers, and business leaders. The mentorship potential alone is extraordinary, and it costs us relatively little to structure it properly. Pillars 3 and 4 speak to the physical and human infrastructure that every boy at Calabar deserves. When I think about a student who cannot concentrate in class because he has not eaten, or one who is struggling emotionally with no counseling support available, that is not a Calabar I am proud of. These investments in welfare are not charity, they are strategic. A boy who is fed, supported, and mentally well is a boy who can learn and compete. On the capital campaign, I want to be very clear. Transparency is non-negotiable. I am recommending a publicly accessible dashboard so that every donor, whether they give $500 or $50,000, can see exactly where their money goes. That is how we build the trust that sustain long-term investment from our global old boys community. I want to close with the message that I believe most deeply. Calabar's best chapter is still ahead of us. I did not come here today to eulogize a great school. I came here to help us write its next chapter together. The three things I'm asking of every person in this room are simple. Be honest about the challenges, commit to coordinated action, and sustain your investment of time, talent, and treasure in a way that is transparent and measurable. I am a Calabar man. You are Calabar people. And I believe that together we have everything it takes to make this school not just good, but genuinely world class. Thank you.